My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive, a energy practitioner with Huna and 25 years of Reiki, and a licensed, not licensed, but certified master practitioner, certified master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy. So that's what I am. And it is so nice to see you guys. Again, like I said, I did miss last week. I really was not feeling well. And there was also just a lot of heaviness going on. There was some things happening personally in my family, and it was just some rough energies. So you know that I show up for you every single week and I'm just transparent, and I just needed to rest and take care last week. So that's what's going on. And this week's topic of what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about, again, cosmically, what's going on without going into too in depth of the trines and all that other kind of with astrology, because that's not my expertise. And I do keep an eye on it. So yesterday, you guys, was the equinox. For those of us that are in the northern hemisphere, it means that we are going into autumn, right? So it is the equinox, or the turning point, going into fall. For those people that are on the southern hemispheres, for Australia and other stuff, that means that it's the turning point for them where they are going into spring right now. Okay, so I'm in the US, so I'm going to go ahead and focus on that right now, and the fact that we are going into fall. Now, the equinoxes that happen are really a time of balance. It really is when nature is starting to come into harmony, right? So we are actually going to have that turning of the seasons, and it's really about seeking balance, is what equinoxes are for. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it, but for today's purpose and discussion, that's what I want to talk about. Now, the interesting thing about the way the planets have lined up with this equinox is we have also are having a series of eclipses that are happening right now. So we have been in between eclipses. And the way the planets are aligned is these last eclipses have been a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy going on that's quite a doozy of energy at the moment. And for those of us that are highly sensitive people, or HSPs and empaths, this energy can almost feel crushing and overwhelming. And I'm here, I'm here on my Magic Mondays to tell you that as an empath, these energies have really gotten to me. And I have tools, right? I have a lot of tools to be able to handle the intense energies, to recognize the intense energies, to release negative emotions, to do ho'oku'u, and to do the emotional energetic release, and do ho'oponopono, and all of the tools that I have. And even with all of the tools I have to tell you, you guys, last Sunday, not yesterday, but last Sunday, I was flat on my back. I was on the couch, and it trickled down into me and it hit me physically. So I've been doing a lot of reflection this week, and a lot of just trying to get my brain around what is happening and what to share with you guys. And so I think what I want to start this off with is, I love stories, right? I love metaphors, and I love to tell a story because I really think stories are the way we as human beings communicate with each other, and it's the way we remember things. And so, that I've told you that my life is a series of signs and synchronicities. I read the signs, I have them, I know it's coming in, I understand the way spirit talks to me. I think I have a really good idea of how spirit talks to all of us. Spirit is much more subtle. It does not have the verbiage the way we do. You have to develop your skills to be able to tap in and tune into spirit, to be able to have a conversation with spirit the way I do when I do my readings. And it is skills that you have to develop in order to do that. Okay. So one of my signs and symbols is I'm always looking out for these synchronicities. So yesterday I took my daughter, we had to go do a photo shoot, and there's an event coming up locally called Lanterns on the Lake that is happening Thursday, and it is to highlight domestic violence. And it is happening in my local community. And the Rim Country Artists, which I'm part of, we were doing the lanterns that are going to be released on the lake on Thursday at the culmination of the event. We were doing artwork on the lanterns. And so as part of that, my daughter is also doing art with me. She's in the Payson Youth Creative School, which is under the Rim Country Artist. And so we were meeting down at the lake yesterday in order to have participate in a group photo for this event that's coming up for social media. Okay. And it was fun, and we had a great time, and we showed our lanterns, and it was all good. And after that happened, I went to the grocery store. And as I was going to the grocery store, the woman who was doing the checkout clerk for me, the cashier, she was there, and she had a giant, I mean, we're talking about the size of my fist. She had a giant evil eye necklace happening. Now, I know that many of you guys know what the evil eye is. It's actually a Greek, you'll see it in Greece, and you'll see it that it is the blue, it's a blue circle, and then it's got another rim. It looks like an eye, so it's a blue circle, and then it's white, and then it has another blue in it, and it's the evil eye. And what happens is people will put them up as a symbol of protection, and they will have it for protection. They put them on their homes. I was having difficulties with a neighbor of mine. He's moved, and in the difficulties that started happening with him, I put an evil eye up on the back of my deck so it faced out towards him to basically put protection around our house, right? So I was happy, and I commented to the lady and I said, "I love your evil eye necklace." And she stopped a minute, and she was like, and she said, "Oh, you have to have it right now." And she said, "It is so crazy right now. People are so angry, and they are so mean, and they are so intense." And she's like, "I have to have protection." And I just smiled at her and I nodded. And then she said, and then she was really cute because she looked at me. I mean, a complete stranger, right? Just having this experience in the checkout. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, not of you, of course. I don't need to protect myself from you." And I started laughing and I said, "Girl," and I'm like, you don't have to protect yourself from me. And I'm super happy that you are wearing the evil eye necklace to be able to protect yourself and what you have. And I said, those of us that actually know what that symbol is not who you need to be protecting your energy from. It's those of us that don't. It's the people who don't know what that symbol is that you need to have the protection. And good for you. Good for you doing the work that you need to do to energetically take care of yourself during this very intense time in our lives and in history and the energies. And she smiled at me and I smiled at her, and then she gave me the receipt and I grabbed my dinner fixings. And then as I was going away, as she handed me the receipt, she looked at me very deep in the eyes and she got close to me and she said, "Thank you. I appreciate you." And then I looked back at her and I said, "Thank you. I appreciate you too. Have a beautiful day." And I went on my way, and it was fine. And it was just this lovely little interaction with a stranger. And it also was the thing that anchored me today and what I wanted to talk to you about, which is really the evil eye and the energies and the intensities of what has been happening cosmically, globally, and other things. And so if you are feeling, the thing I really want you to know is if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling scared, if you are feeling sad, if you have anger, if you have a depth of an anger that is coming to you that you don't normally have right now, and you identify as a highly sensitive person or as an empath right now, please understand that this energy may not be yours. Okay. This energy may really be coming from what is happening on our planet right now. Okay. So that's the number one thing I want to tell you. As a tool, one of the things that happens to me is when I feel this overwhelming energy. It feels like anxiety that hits in my stomach region, and it's this anxiety and it rises through me. Or sometimes it feels like prickles on the skin, like somebody's like taking a cactus and just kind of poking me with a needle. Sometimes it just feels like an overwhelming feeling, again, like a swell of anger or a swell of sadness, or just an uncomfortableness and discomfort. That is how I perceive the energies. However you perceive the energy is perfectly fine and perfectly great for you. I'm just telling you how I perceive it, okay? So then what happens is I feel the feels and I stop for a minute and I ask myself, well, first of all, I take 3 deep breaths. Remember, if you take 3 deep breaths, you are actually engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, which means you are telling your nervous system to not be in fight or flight mode right now. And you cannot make a good decision in fight or flight mode. Though in order to make a good decision, it needs to be calm. And to be calm, you need to be in breath. So if you can take 3 deep breaths in the midst of any crisis, you can tell your nervous system, calm it down. Once you have taken your 3 deep breaths, then you can ask yourself some questions, some deeper inquiry. And on that deeper inquiry, I start asking myself, I literally say, that's interesting. I get curious. That's interesting. I'm feeling prickly. I'm feeling a feeling in my stomach. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm not feeling myself. Is this me? Right? What is going on? I try to identify the feeling and then, is this me? Is this me? And then if I check in and I check in with my gut and I get a gut hit, and a lot of times I'll actually say, dear unconscious mind, is this me? Because my unconscious mind is the supercomputer. It sees everything, it knows everything, it hears everything. My conscious mind deletes, distorts, and generalizes. But my unconscious mind knows it all, right? So I'll check in with my unconscious mind and be, unconscious mind, please tell me, is this me? You know? And then I'll stop and listen for what I get. And sometimes I'll hear something. Sometimes there'll be a hit. Sometimes I'll get a vision. Mostly I get a feeling because I'm clairsentient most. So I'll get a feeling and I'll get an instant like, yes, it's me, no, it's me, or it's not me, or it's a combination. And then it's a deeper inquiry again, which is like, okay, is this, and then I start checking down. Is this my spouse? Is this my child? Is this my other child? Is this my community? Is this my friend? Is this, you know what I mean? And I start going very small, specifically, is this me? And then I start chunking up to, is this my community? Is this what's happening globally? Is this what's in the US? What's happening here? And then I just do this deeper inquiry so I can get a handle on my emotions. And if I can get a handle on my emotions and I can start doing this deeper inquiry, I can usually stop it from hitting me physically, from being flat on the couch, exhausted, not feeling well, stomach ache, because it goes in digestion for me, all of those other things. I can usually stop it before it has to go to a physical manifestation of it. What I have learned is that if I can start things energetically at the top, if I can start it spiritually in my spiritual body, then I can get it in my mental body, my emotional body, and my physical body, because it is for me a trickle down event. It is a trickle down effect. And I also have to know, where am I carrying this right now? Remember that the body keeps the score. Okay. So, whatever's happening emotionally will stay in your body. Whatever's happening mentally will stay in the body. Whatever's happening spiritually will stay in the body. Our body keeps the score. So when we are having physical body issues, there is always, other than very rare cases of genetics, but always there is also a mental, emotional, spiritual component. And in order to live a more awakened life, a life where you are more empowered and you are more in control, then you are able to get a handle on these things, and you are able to work your tools to help you feel better. Okay. So that is what is happening. Now, What I want to talk to you about, I actually there's a couple, the next thing I want to talk to you about is there's a couple of people who I follow that I believe in, right? I've told you that it's Elizabeth Peru, who I believe in for the astrology piece of it. There's another person who does sidereal astrology that comes from my mentor, that because it comes from my mentor, I also believe the source of it. And there's a couple of other intuitives out there that have large followings that I will just check in with and see what they're thinking about. And then what I always do is I always go into meditation and I always check in with my own team to find out what is truth for me and truth for you guys, for my community. So please bear with me. I'm going to really work to have the language for this today. A lot of what I'm feeling is felt sense right now. And I actually I've been really trying to take about 2 to 3 weeks to be able to get this into some kind of language and wrap my brain around it and be able to say it in a way that makes sense for you guys. So bear with me as I work through this, okay? So in meditation with my team the other day, one of the things I was asking about was, what is this seething anger? What is going on in the world today where people are angry, right? What is happening right now that my cashier of my local community in this tiny little town, now it's Payson, 29,000 people, but it's not a ginormous city. What is happening that she is feeling the need to wear an evil eye, right? What is happening there that our highly sensitives, our receivers of information, right? Those of us that are big receivers are feeling this need to tuck in and protect ourselves, or feeling these overwhelming emotions, whatever emotion comes to surface most for us. For some people, it's anger, that immediately they're quick to anger because that's how they are conditioned and programmed to immediately express negative emotions. Other people, myself, I'm quick to tears, I'm quick to sadness. So my conditional programming, my childhood programming brings up the tears first, okay? Other people, fear, what is it that is going on with us right now that are feeling these energies that is making us be so uncomfortable? And here's what I got from my team. Okay, this is what I'm trying to put into words. We are in a holding pattern right now. There are energies and events in this world that those of us that are living in three-dimensional form right now, in human form, we don't actually know what the future is going to hold for us, okay? And we can feel the energy because words have energy, right? Emotions have energy. There is a lot of negative words that are going about right now. And, a lot of this has to do with the election. Sure. We're just weeks away from the election in the United States. And when the political ads come out, there's always an us versus them mentality. There's always, blame. There's always anger. There is, as media, it's been around to try to incite us to anger. We are being incited. We are being pushed to be angry, so we get out to the polls and we vote. And they know that anger, they, as in the people who are running the political parties on both sides and the political process, know that anger is the strongest emotion. And if you can get people angry, then you have a chance to get them to go out and do something about it. Okay. Now, that being said, I am not talking about politics here, and I am saying whatever your belief is, this is a big pivotal moment. It is every year in our global community, particularly in America. This is a pivotal event. And the one thing we can do is get out and vote. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to go in my political discussion today, is please, however strongly you feel, just go out and vote, because it is the one way that we can participate in the process. And we do need to participate in the process because it does affect us. Okay. So that being said, understand the higher dynamics of what's going on. understand that you are being pushed and nudged right now to be out of your comfort zone. You're being pushed and nudged right now to be angry. You're being pushed nudged right now to, to stir this stuff up. So that is what is happening in the global sense right now. And we are part of it. Okay. And then the planetary alignments with the eclipses and the equinox are intensive energies out there. The eclipses, in between the eclipses, is about release work. And we really do need to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. And in order to let go of things that are no longer helping us, we need to be out of our comfort zones because it is pushing us out of our comfort zone. And I have really come to understand in the last 3 weeks how important release is. We must release these negative emotions. We must release, the intense energy, the feeling of overwhelm. As highly sensitives and empaths, we feel all the feels. We are massive receivers. If we hold that all in, what are we doing to ourselves? We've got to find ways to release it. We need to walk, we need to swim, we need to yell, we need to scream, we need to do laughter yoga, we need to work our tools, we need to paint, we need to draw, we need to skip, you know what I mean? We need to say no. We need to figure out that when it feels like the world is going crazy, how do we stay sane and happy and healthy in a world that is not mirroring that back to us? And then how do we stand in our light so we can mirror to the world that even in the midst of uncertainty, even in the midst of insanity or what feels like insanity, you can remain calm, peaceful, centered, and happy, right? That is empowerment, and that is a choice, and that's really what I wanted to express with you guys today. Okay. So again, just to wrap it up, if anybody's feeling overwhelmed, if anybody's feeling quick to anger, if you're feeling quick to tears, if you're feeling like you don't want to do anything right now, but that is being energy. And the last thing I really want to tell you that I got from my spirit team during my last meditation this morning and the clearing in this last week when I've been doing my meditations is we are in a holding pattern and we are awaiting our marching orders as light workers, right? Where there's things at play right now and we don't know the outcome of them. And because we don't know the outcome of them and there is a natural cycle and rhythm to things, it is really our job to just be. And then we will get our marching orders from our higher selves. We will get our marching orders from spirit. They will come in as a whisper. They may come in as a command. They may come in like when I started Soul Star Magic in 2020, and when I heard now, I was deciding whether I was going to go online with art classes and become an artist, or if I was going to completely do a pivot. And it came into me like a lightning bolt that was like, the time is now. You have been preparing for this and it is go time. And I clearly heard it is go time. And I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, it was time to take action. Okay. So that's what it was. But until I heard the go time, I didn't know. I was in a holding pattern. So what they showed me in meditation and what they're reminding me of right now is think of ourselves as little planes, like we are all planes and we are flying around the globe right now. And this is Mother Earth and she's the planet Earth. And each one of us are stars or airplanes or whatever it is. But I like the airplane metaphor, which is what they're giving me. And we are all just in a holding pattern. We are all just kind of circling right now because we're not really sure where we're supposed to land. And please know that it is okay. It is okay for us to be in being energy right now. It is okay for us to take self-care and take care of ourselves and find our center, find our peace, find our joy, find our happiness, our creativity in the moment, because very soon, you guys, we are going to know where we need to move. Okay. And it's not just related to the election. It's related to the energy. It's related to the changing of our universe right now, of our planet, and us moving in the directions we need to go. We have entered the age of Aquarius. We are moving into different ages. We are moving more into the divine feminine and away from the masculine, and hopefully to come into harmony at some point with the masculine and the feminine. So it is a very unusual, unique, and upheaval time in our history. And just hang in there. I'm wearing my Warrior of Love shirt today because that's really what it is. I'm just asking each of you to be a warrior of love. Okay? Okay. That feels great. Okay. So I'm going to get into let me know if anybody has any questions, please. If that resonates with you, feel free to email me. You can email soulstirmagic@gmail.com. And you can, you can just talk to me. Okay. So that's fine. Hi, Rebecca. So nice to see you. Kelly, it was so nice to see you. And everybody who's here, and then Susan here, you guys. So thank you for the hearts and for anything else. Remember that you are more than welcome to reach out to me. And Carolyn says, joyful warriors. Absolutely. I wish this said joyful warriors of love, because that really is, it's hard, you guys. What I went through, not this last week, but the weekend before, with some family and some other things going on. It's some old wounds and some old patterns, and it was hard to get through. I found myself very much getting into the energy of righteous indignation and being triggered by a lot of old pains and wounds, and I had to work my way through it. And when people frankly are just acting, their behavior, it's not the person, but the behavior, when the behavior of somebody is being an asshole and not being a cause, and you want to be a cause, and you don't want to be an asshole, and you want to basically be a warrior of light, and you are coming like this with another person who literally doesn't want to be a cause and doesn't want to see your side of it, it's really hard. How do you be a warrior of love when someone doesn't want to love? And then you have to look at it and be, okay, I have to love them harder, because obviously the pain that they feel inside is bigger than my love I have for them. And I'm going to outlove them. Okay. If that makes sense. Okay, you guys.